She called me insecure, then secretly went to a concert with her ex without telling me. So I let Instagram expose her, watched her perfect image shatter, and now she's alone, broke, and still pretends she's the victim. I 28, male, AM sitting here at 3 o'clock in the morning, unable to sleep, so I might as well write this out. I've been with Jenna, 26, for about 18 months. We moved in together 4 months ago, and I honestly thought things were solid between us. Guess I was wrong. Last Friday, she told me she was having a girls' night with her coworkers. Cool. No problem. I had plans to game with my friends anyway. She left around 7 p.m., dressed up a lot more than usual for drinks with work friends, but I didn't think too much of it. I'm not the type to police outfits or question why my partner wants to look good. Around 11 that night, I was deep into a raid with my friends when my buddy Kyle suddenly said, "Yo, isn't that your girl?" Then he dropped a link in Discord. I clicked it and my stomach dropped. There was Jenna, front row at some indie band concert, posted right there on the venue's Instagram story. And standing next to her was Dustin, her ex. The one she dated for 3 years. The one she told me was completely out of her life. What made it worse was that in the video, she had her hand resting on his shoulder, both of them singing along and looking way too comfortable together. The venue had tagged them both. So much for girls' night. I took screenshots of everything. I didn't text her. I just sat there numb. She came home around 2 a.m., slightly buzzed, talking about what a fun night she had with the girls. I just said, "Sounds good," and went to bed. Saturday morning, she was in the kitchen making breakfast while I sat at the table with my coffee, acting as casual as possible. I looked at her and said, "So, how was the concert?" She froze for a split second before asking, "What concert?" I replied, "The one you went to with Dustin." Her eyes narrowed immediately. "Were you stalking my social media?" "That's really weird," I said. "The venue posted it. Kyle saw it and sent it to me." That's when she shifted straight into offense mode. "Oh my God. You're being so insecure. I ran into him there. We didn't plan it. And so what if we did? I can have guy friends. We dated years ago. It means nothing now. You're seriously gonna freak out because I watched some music with someone? This is toxic behavior." I tried to keep my voice calm. "You told me you were with your coworkers." She shot back. He just happened to be there too. I didn't think I needed to report every person I see when I'm out. Do you want me to text you every time I pass a man on the street? Should I wear a body cam? Her sarcasm was thick enough to cut with a knife. She kept going, talking over me, painting me as some controlling psycho for being upset that she'd lied to me and spent the evening with her ex. The more she talked, the more it hit me that this wasn't about the concert. It was about the dishonesty, the gaslighting, and the way she was twisting the narrative to make me the bad guy for having completely reasonable boundaries. I didn't argue. I just said, "You're right. You absolutely can have guy friends. My bad." She looked momentarily surprised, but then smiled like she'd won something. She kissed me on the cheek and said she was glad I was working on my insecurity issues. The condescension in her voice was unreal. But here's the thing, I wasn't done. I was just getting started. See, Jenna's entire life revolved around her Instagram. She wasn't quite an influencer, but she had around 3,000 followers and kept a carefully curated feed full of aesthetic photos, inspirational captions, and that independent woman living her best life vibe. Remember how the venue tagged them both? Well, Dustin had reposted the story to his own profile with the caption, "Best night with this one," followed by a row of heart emojis. His girlfriend of 8 months, Becca, had already commented, "Excuse me?" by the time I saw it Saturday morning. That night, while Jenna was in the shower, I did something petty, maybe too petty, but I was done being gaslit. I made my own Instagram story 3 slides. First slide, a screenshot of her text to me saying, "Girls' night. Don't wait up." Second slide, the venue's story showing her with Dustin, his arm around her waist. And here's a detail I hadn't mentioned yet. In that video, his hand was definitely not just resting casually. Third slide, simple text saying, When girls' night has a plot twist. Good thing I'm working on my insecurity issues. I tagged her, tagged him, and tagged the venue. Then I posted it. Right after posting, I packed a bag and went to stay at my brother Nathan's place across town. I turned off my phone. Sometimes the best response to gaslighting is just a little bit of sunlight. When I turned my phone back on Sunday afternoon, all hell had broken loose. The first thing I saw when my phone lit up was the number of missed calls. 184 from Jenna. Then 73 text messages ranging from, "Where are you?" to "Take that down now" to "You're embarrassing me" to "This is so immature" to "Please just talk to me," and even "I'm going to kill you." Real healthy progression there. But the Instagram fallout? That's where things got interesting. What I didn't know when I posted my story was this. 1. Becca, Dustin's girlfriend, was already suspicious. She had seen the venue's post earlier and had been going through Dustin's phone that very morning. 2. She found texts between him and Jenna from earlier in the week, planning the concert together. In one of them, Jenna wrote, "Tyler thinks I'm doing girls' night, lol." Dustin replied, "What he doesn't know won't hurt him." Becca took screenshots of everything and went absolutely nuclear. She posted it all on her own Instagram story, tagging everyone involved, including me, and added her own commentary about homewreckers who can't let go and men who aren't worth anything. By the time I turned my phone back on, it wasn't just my story making the rounds. It had turned into a full-on exposé. Jenna's carefully crafted image was in flames. Her comments were full of people calling her out. Even some of her friends posted things like, "This explains why you canceled on book club," or, "So this is why you've been acting weird lately." It was brutal. By Sunday evening, Jenna showed up at Nathan's apartment. Nathan let her in, even though I told him I didn't want to see her. She was crying, but she wasn't apologizing. No, she was angry. "How could you do this to me? My mom saw those posts. My coworkers are texting me. You've ruined my reputation." I said, "I ruined your reputation by posting what actually happened?" She shot back, "It wasn't what it looked like. We were just catching up." Becca is psycho. Those texts don't mean anything. I stared at her and asked, "The texts where you literally laughed about lying to me?" She rolled her eyes. "It was a joke. God, you're so sensitive. And now everyone thinks I'm some kind of cheater." I asked, "Are you?" She paused before saying, "Kissing isn't cheating." Nathan burst out laughing at that. She glared at him, then turned back to me. "So you kissed him?" She shrugged. "Just once, and I was drunk. It didn't mean anything. That's why I didn't tell you, because I knew you'd overreact like this." The mental gymnastics were Olympic level. In her mind, she was still the victim. I told her to leave. She refused. Said we needed to work through this like adults. She wanted me to delete everything and post an apology saying I'd misunderstood the situation. Nathan ended up escorting her out while she yelled about how I was throwing away something special over nothing, and how I'd regret this when I calmed down. The next morning, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. It was Becca, Dustin's now ex-girlfriend. She sent me even more screenshots. Turns out this wasn't the first time Jenna and Dustin had met up while we were together. She found at least 4 other occasions hidden from me. Always when Jenna was busy doing something else. Always deleted from her Instagram stories. One particularly charming exchange stood out. Dustin had texted, "Feel bad about Tyler though." Jenna replied, "Why? He's sweet but boring. You're my excitement." Dustin responded, "LOL." Jenna then added, "I'm not leaving him. He pays half the rent and does all the cooking. Best of both worlds." I sat there reading that over and over. Was that really how she saw me? As a convenient wallet and personal chef? Nothing more? The apartment situation was complicated since we were both on the lease, but at that moment, I knew I was done playing the nice guy. By Tuesday, the entitlement had escalated exactly as I expected. She still had her key and came home to find I'd moved all her belongings into the second bedroom. I'd even set up a mini fridge, a hot plate, and her coffee machine in there, basically giving her a private little studio. If we were stuck on the same lease, we were gonna live like roommates. She exploded. You can't just move my things. We share the master bedroom. I corrected her. Shared. Past tense. You wanted independence and excitement? Now you have your own space. Very independent. She called me childish. I told her, we're adults and this is how we're handling it. Your rent is $650 due on the 1st. Utilities split down the middle. I'll email you the breakdown. When she tried moving her stuff back, I installed a lock on the master bedroom door. The next day, she threatened to call the police. I showed her screenshots where she admitted to cheating. She stormed off to her room, slamming the door hard enough to knock a picture off the wall. By Wednesday, the smear campaign was in full swing. She filled her Instagram with vague posts about toxic relationships and healing from emotional abuse. Some friends bought it, others called her out because they'd seen the original stories. Then she made a fatal mistake. She posted a photo of herself crying with the caption, "When someone tries to control and manipulate you by spreading lies. Gaslighting is real." Becca entered the chat. She commented under Jenna's post with every single screenshot, the concert plans, the previous meetups, the boring comment, and added, "Speaking of gaslighting, this you." The post disappeared within an hour, but screenshots were already circulating. Her follower count began dropping fast. Thursday, her mom Linda showed up. Imagine every entitled parent stereotype rolled into one. Pearls, a pursed mouth, and a tone like she was about to scold a waiter for bringing tap water instead of sparkling. "What you're doing to my daughter is disgusting," she told me. She made one mistake. I corrected her. 5. At least 5 that we know of. Linda called it harmless flirting. Nathan, who was there for support, said, "Harmless flirting doesn't usually involve tongue." Linda turned red but still tried to order me to move out and let Jenna have the apartment. I told her no. She threatened a lawyer. I invited her to have her lawyer contact mine. She didn't have one. Friday brought the professional fallout. Jenna worked in social media marketing, and her boss pulled her aside to talk about maintaining professional standards. She was removed from 2 client accounts after they heard about the drama. Naturally, she blamed me, claiming I'd ruined her career. I replied by sending the screenshot where she called me boring and admitted she kept me around for rent and cooking. Then I blocked her number. Saturday was the final straw. She posted on Facebook, where she was friends with my family, claiming she was trapped in an abusive living situation and needed help escaping. My mom called me immediately. I reminded her of the screenshots I'd sent weeks ago. 10 minutes later, my mother went full mama bear, commenting on Jenna's post. "Perhaps you should have thought about living situations before having affairs. Also, Tyler showed me where you called him boring and used him for rent. Delete this before more people see what kind of person you really are." The post was gone within minutes. The next day, Dustin showed up at my door with a duffel bag. Jenna said I could stay here a few days. I told him absolutely not. Jenna tried to argue that she could have guests. I pointed to the lease. Overnight guests require approval from all tenants, and I did not approve. Dustin tried to push past me. Bad move. I blocked the doorway and told him he had 10 seconds before I called the police. He left, swearing the whole way, while Jenna filmed on her phone. From there, we just waited out the lease. She tried love bombing me, leaving notes about the good times, then tried to make me jealous by bringing other guys over. I ignored her. When she threw a party, I shut it down with the lease terms. 3 weeks before move out, she asked me to lie to the landlord about the damage in her room so she could get her full deposit back. I documented everything, the holes in the walls, the makeup stains, the broken closet door, and sent it all to the landlord. On move-out day, she came with movers at 6 a.m., probably hoping to avoid me. I was already awake, coffee in hand. She didn't say a word, just glared occasionally. Her Instagram career was effectively over, her follower count cut in half. Dustin and her lasted 2 weeks after she moved out before he cheated on her. 2. Me? I got my own place, a cozy 1-bedroom closer to work. Started dating again with clear boundaries and expectations. And you know what? That's not insecure. That's healthy. Looking back, my Instagram story might have been petty, but when someone gaslights you and makes you feel crazy for having basic expectations, sometimes a little public accountability is exactly what's needed. About a month later, she unblocked me to send one last message. I hope you're happy. You got what you wanted. I didn't reply, but yes, Jenna, I did get what I wanted. A life without liars and gaslighters. Highly recommend it.